brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like...
I'm 13 years old. These are places that a 13-year-old probably should not be.
I was found on YouTube.
But for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and just turn their back on you in a second.
Yo, it was so crazy, man. He beat that woman till she was crawling up under a car, man.
It's only one king. It's a king of all kings. I don't care if you the king of your house. There's only one king. King of all kings. And he gonna remind you every time.
Kim know all his deepest secrets.
In episode 1, we name-dropped Kim Porter. She was a part of Uptown Records when it was first created. She was also the ex-wife of Albie Shore, father of their 3-year-old son, Quincy. And I had mentioned that she had died from pneumonia. She comes to play a very big part in the Diddy scandal. But prior to Kim Porter, Diddy was with a woman named Misa Hylton. They dated in the early 1990s, and together they welcomed their first and only child, Justin Combs, in December of 1993. Later on, Cassie, another ex of Diddy's, would file a lawsuit against him for abuse, and Misa kind of comes out for the first time and says, "I am heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, and my heart goes out to her. I know exactly how she feels, and through my empathy, it has triggered my own trauma."
Diddy, his baby mom, Misa Hylton, she came out with a statement saying that she seen the video, and when she seen the video, it brought back her own trauma. And she knows how Cassie feels.
That was big in so many ways, man. I was catching flack, talking about, I never heard of that before. I never heard that Puff ever put his hands on Misa. You just making shit up. If you saw it, you know why you ain't do nothing about it. I didn't see it. When I heard something, if I see it, I'm gonna tell you I saw it. Misa was a little thing then too, man. When I stopped working for Puff, I started working for Misa. Misa called me up, "Yo, Gene, I'm scared. I'm afraid. I be wanting to go to parties. I be out. And I know Puff or nobody gonna do anything if I got you with me." I used to bodyguard Misa. She didn't go out all the time. She was trying to get her business up. But when she wanted to go to places and be out and be seen, I was with her. I don't know how Justin got to do some of the things that he's doing now, probably because he went to live with his daddy, but his mama didn't play that. I used to bodyguard her, and that's because she was afraid to be out. She didn't want, if she was out with somebody or she was out doing her thing, she didn't want him to say or do anything to her or nobody else. It was for other people too. This only proves that the information that I heard somebody and they told me that Puff beat him because of the Eric Sermon. He thought she was dating Eric Sermon, or Eric Sermon had dropped him out. He was in a white Mercedes Benz. He had dropped her off. He got mad and started beating on her. This only proves, cause she said that it only brings back her own trauma, bruh. It was so crazy, man. The way they explained it, that he beat that woman till she was crawling up under a car, man. First thing I want to know, then what did somebody do? People was grabbing him, but he wouldn't stop.
Their son was born at the end of 1993, and by 1994, he was dating Kim Porter. Kim and Diddy met as Diddy was just beginning his career in Uptown Records under Andre Harrell. Albie Shore was a valued singer and producer for Uptown Records, as we talked about, but he was also Kim's ex-husband and father of their 3-year-old child. Diddy recounted their initial meet in the studio, saying, "I wasn't trying to holler at her or anything, but I admired her. Her lips, her eyes, her mouth, her shape, her energy, and thinking, I wish I had a girl like that. I wasn't trying to holler at her or anything." Well, that's probably not true, because we know that Diddy himself has declared multiple times, "I get what I want. I get what I want. What I want, I can have." He'll throw a fit to make that very clear.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get! I am the fucking hardest hustler in the world! This is Savage Part 2! Don't tell me about shit! It's 2022 and I'm still a savage! Whatever I want, I get! Whatever I want, I fucking get!
He got what he wanted, as he declared, and he ended up with Kim Porter.
But what was the beef between Albert Shore and Diddy? Like, why wasn't they on good terms?
The nigga was dating Kim. That's his kid's mother. And they was cool. They was friends. Misa and Kim was cool. They was all in that Uptown family. Uptown Records family. You my man, you cool. We all be around each other. And you dating the mother of my son. Alan never go try to date Misa. He had motherfuckers think that he had adopted Quincy. And he never did. I was never out of his son's life.
Friendly reminder, Diddy is an outright liar that lives off of his own lies. It's like gasoline for his tank. Secrets, web of lies, his own foundation of life is built on that. And any mess that Diddy ever created or anything he never wanted people to know about him, that could just be paid off. For several decades of his life, that's just how he's operated. And he has learned from many people in the beginning of his life, his mentors, people say his mother, that it was a learned behavior.
I remember we was in the car. It was me, Puff, and his mother got in the car with us. And we was in the limousine. His mother got in the car. He was on the phone talking about somebody to something. And then he said to his mother, yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business? Yo, I want to snatch the fucking shadow off him. I'm not going to let him, as a man and as a person that I am, disrespect his mama. She might still find me sexy. She say she looking.
What you mean by that? His mom was trying to talk to you back then?
I don't want her. That's how we fell out, bruh. Oh my God. Yo, one day, Puff and Justin was in the office. Sometimes I gotta watch Justin, but since the grandma up there, you know, she watching Justin sometimes, I still gotta keep my eye on Puff. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who security gonna let up sometimes, and this, that, and the third. So, it used to like, she used to have a restaurant. And she used to bring food up to the office and give it to people, right? So this one particular time, you know, she used to always like do innuendos to me. Gene, why you don't never Gene, why you don't like this? But I never even, you know, paid her any attention because it's always Miss Combs. It ain't Mama Combs. It ain't Janice. It's Miss Combs. You understand? I gave her that respect. But she used to always throw in the windows, and you know when somebody find you somewhat attractive. And then because I used to get in Puff ass, because Puff used to be disrespectful around his mother. Now, we was in the office one time. This one time, Justin heard, she brought some food up. And she like, Gene, I need you to go downstairs and get this food out the truck or the van or whatever she had on down there. I need to get out there. I said, and all these people's in the office. It's 1,000 interns that could have did that shit. But I know she just she wanted to show that she had power over me, and I would never give her no power over me. Cause she used to always ask me to do shit. I'm sitting there like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not here for that. So she got all riled up. Everybody do what I tell them to do except you. Who do you think you are? Stuff like that. I said, I'm here for Puff. Anything happen to him while I go down there getting your food, it's a situation. Puff overheard the thing. And Puff came out and said, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Why you always messing with Gene? Leave Gene alone. And from that point on, Paul started getting this other dude from my block, around our block, named Stretch, because he was NYPD, to take my days. And I just said to myself, man, I ain't fucking with that no more. And that's how we fell out. That's how it ended.
So that's just a lie, in my opinion, that he wasn't trying to get Kim. So these two got together, and they were extremely tight for the first period of their relationship, which was said by Kim Porter herself. In 1998, the couple welcomed their first child together named Christian, but they ended up splitting the same year because, surprise, surprise, Diddy ended up with another woman. He'd been having an affair with Jennifer Lopez. Kim ended up having to raise this newborn for a while with just her surrounding friends and family because she ended up kicking Diddy out of the shared home at the time. And even though they were living apart and he had this new woman and she had the new baby and the big responsibility to being a new mother, to her second child, Kim said that Diddy was ruthless. He was insistent on coming by and seeing her and their son often, which she found to be a very hard thing to handle. It was very tough for her. Eventually, they moved their conflict to a Manhattan family court, where she was said to have a major struggle through a custody battle with him. See the entitlement with this guy? No consideration for the care that actually goes into having a newborn, let alone having a child from the relationship before like Kim did. No consideration for her and her needs as a person. Kim said he would say he needed to see his son, but I was at a place where just the sight of him would turn my stomach. My feeling was, you made this decision, now stay over there. I can't repeat everything I said at the time because it's really not ladylike, but I was very expressive about it. By 2000, some years later, she ended up in a relationship with a man named Shakir Stewart. And this, of course, pissed Diddy off, which doesn't surprise me. Diddy would call Kim 50 or 60 times a day. Kim would add, "It was like my life was not my own. He was very, very intrusive." That summer, Diddy, Kim, and her new boyfriend, they went to Italy for a mutual friend's wedding. And at the time of the event, Diddy reportedly went into Shakir's room after the ceremony, and he allegedly broke a chair over Shakir's head.
You said that Diddy, he was phone tapping Kim Porter phone?
I was sitting there like, damn, he know everything she doing. When I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakir Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad. That made him so mad at Shakir Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair.
Shakir's mother, Portia, said that Diddy left Shakir bleeding on the hotel floor in Italy. He had to have stitches, and then Diddy threatened him, "I'm going to kill you." That's when Shakir's mother told Shakir it's time to get out of the business because this guy Diddy is crazy. It should be noted that Shakir died by suicide some years later at just the age of 33. At some point, Kim and Diddy ended up getting back together after all of that. And I'm sure we've all been there where we know something isn't good for us and we go back to it once, twice, several times, however long it takes for us to learn that we deserve better. By the year of 2006, they ended up welcoming twins, Delilah and Jesse, who were born right before Christmas, December 21st, 2006. Sadly, for the second pregnancy experience with Diddy, this time with 2 newborns, 4 children, Kim ended up leaving Diddy again because he ended up having another affair on her with a woman named Sarah Chapman.
Everybody knew that Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy image. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with? Because you got to realize, bruh, Puff and Pac was cool at one time. Puff had an obsession with him for whatever reason it was, because he started wanting to act. He started wanting to rap. He had an obsession so bad that at his Grammy Award winning speech, he used the same speech that Pac used. That shit is crazy. Pac had Sarah before Puff. Allegedly, he had Sally before Puff. Kim had an obsession or liked Pac so much, she on the red carpet with Tupac's shirt. Who's obsessed with who?
So you believe Diddy, he only got with Sarah Chapman because Pac, he had her at one point.
And it was a bet in the office. Sarah was messing with an NBA basketball player. All the niggas didn't believe that he could get it within 2 weeks, $100. So she actually was a $100 bet that he got. You gotta realize, Misa and Kim was friends. He took Misa, he started dealing with Kim over Misa. Kim and Sarah was friends. Hand to hand, pots and pans. They was close. He went from Kim to Sarah, and he liked to do the friend thing. Everything that she went through in the music business, all the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she sexing another dude? Where your demonic mind you have to be that far gone?
Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah.
So then that next year in 2007, Kim Porter was pregnant with Diddy's twin daughters. And then Diddy had a daughter with Sarah Chapman.
Yes.
Who was actually Tupac's ex.
Right.
And I guess once Kim found out about the other kid, she broke up with Diddy officially.
Yeah, Kim was upset because Sarah Chapman was also one of her best friends also.
They had a baby girl named Chance who was born in July of 2006. It took somebody else to go to Kim and tell her that Diddy had impregnated another woman. But then once her twins were born, Diddy finally came out about his infidelity with Sarah. He told me that he may have gotten himself into a situation and he may have fathered another child outside the relationship. And I said, really? Well, I already knew. I'm glad you decided to be a man. I was like, dude, this is so whack. I can't even respect you right now. And for me, once the respect is gone, I'm not even listening to you. So Kim and Diddy, they were done. So then, by November 15th of 2018, Kim died. Kim died from what's to have been said pneumonia, the second reporting of her death. The first was ruled a homicide.
And in the report, didn't it say she had blood on the pillow and bruises or something like that? The case need to be reopened, man. The case really need to be reopened. And why did all Kim's stuff come up missing?
I ain't know any of that, man. I never heard of that. So when they found her, she had bruises and a lot of her stuff was missing?
Bro, it's a lot of suspect things going on. Nobody knows what Kim Porter phone is. And they know they had iPhones. Why have nobody went to the cloud and got the text messages and the things off her phone? Nobody tried to find the phone? Where was the last place her phone was at before it was destroyed and cut off?
You personally, what do you think happened to Kim Porter?
I think it may have been some foul play.
Kim Porter, do you know anything about her book? Because there's always been a rumor for a while now that, she got killed because she was exposing a lot of stuff in her book.
She ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. It was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody could go get it one day. Because any picture you take, anything that you write or say, it's in that internet cloud. You just got to go get it. I'm sure that he probably got hold to those tablets or whatever she had, allegedly, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Right.
But someone who has access to the best hospitals, the best doctors, to die from pneumonia sounds crazy.
I did speak to one of Kim's best friends, and I kind of just needed to know, and I asked him, I said, what do you think? And this was one of Kim's closest friends, and she said, Barnes, I would hate to think that he had something to do with it. She said, but I think it was Kim's birthday or even Diddy's birthday, and they went over to the Miami house, and they said that Kim had an IV in her arm the whole night. So I guess she was feeling sick or wasn't feeling right, and they put the IV in her. But she said that whole night that Kim had the IV and she was acting funny. And they thought it was just because of drinks or something, like, oh, Kim must be drunk or something. But she said, Barnes, she literally only had 2 drinks. And she said the next day is when Kim started complaining about being sick. And they was, they had family members that was over there close to her and stuff like that. And they said one of the young girls left that morning to take the twins to school. And when they came back, Kim had passed away.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died, it was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
Suddenly, there was no trace of the fact that this could have been a homicide. So to this day, her death has been ruled pneumonia. And it's been said that Diddy had actually purchased her casket prior to her death. Kim was alleged to have information on Diddy that he did not want out. I'll be sure her ex-husband from Uptown Records as well has been asking people via Instagram to please open the investigation on her death, that this seems like there's smoke that might lead to a fire. Now, you might be second guessing what I'm saying about this book thing, because there has been a book that came out recently, and it's titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. This just got released. This is supposed to be Kim's secret files. The tell-all book reportedly compromised of diary entries details shocking claims about Diddy's personal life, including accusations of child abuse, infidelity, and possession of sex tapes involving young people. The author, Chris Todd, has said that he received receipts of the details in the book from credible sources that knew Kim and Diddy well. Those receipts have not been provided at this time. Also, a credible source in my eyes is Jaguar Wright. And she actually made a statement that they probably released a little bit of truth in this book through some third-party source to make the truth not seem so bad. And it's been amazing to know that and see other people react to this book, because people are just like blown away, like, wow, this book is so crazy. But allegedly, that's not even the half of it. It gets far, far worse. I'd like to mention as well, in respect to Kim's children, they have come out with a public claim saying that the book is a lie and they want the respect of their mother because she has passed away. They want peace. When Kim and Diddy were together, he not only mistreated her emotionally, as we could see through his pattern, but also he would beat her out of anger too.
He had an incident with Kim Porter, and I had to rush over to the hospital. I got a call, said we was off that weekend. I'd be off that weekend. He gonna chill with Kim. So I get a call, yo, Gene. I said, what's up? He said, you gotta run over to the hospital. I said, for what? Run over to the hospital what? He said, Puff is over there with Kim. I said, I'm off. What are you talking about? He said, man, he needs some security at the hospital. I said, what's up? He said, no, just go over to the hospital, St. Luke's. So I go to St. Luke's Hospital. Puff's hand is wrapped up in a T-shirt, a white T-shirt, but you could see the blood just coming through there and everything like that. And him and Kim is having a conversation. Kim looked like she is somewhat battered, you know what I'm saying? And she couldn't believe that he's talking to her like, yo, you could ruin my career, this, that, and the third, and everything like that. Because she had took a corkscrew and ripped his wrist with it because I wasn't there, but he probably was putting his hands on her. I heard the part that you could ruin my career, you know, you the corkscrew. I'd never seen Kim that distraught. To come to the point, and me being in law enforcement, you have to take a corkscrew and defend yourself. It's got to be serious.
It was just chaos surrounding this dude. Kim would be on the phone with him a lot, and and then it was kind of like, I want to be able to do everything I want to do, but still have you.
Kim Porter, we all know about the time that she cut Diddy with a corkscrew. Do you recall any other time that her and Diddy got into it?
I could hear it in the hotel suite. You could hear the shit in the hallway, and I would just shake my head when he come out. And it's always about where she was at or who she was dealing with. I'm not gonna see you physically put your hands on nobody. Put your hands on her. Investigator for child abuse. Worked for Elite Investigations. New York State parole officer. I'm mandated to do something. He could have fired me when I told him I'm gonna whoop his ass when he said something to his mama like that.
So you could hear Diddy putting hands on Kim Porter.
He'll have something on his mind, and he'll like that play fight with them. He'll be hurting them when they to the point where they'll be like, yo, stop. You know what I'm saying? Kim would walk out in her white robe, and you could see it in her face.
I always seen violence in him, man. He bust her nose. She said they tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. she slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist.
Scary people with money do some scary things. And he's that type of individual. He's a snake.
Puffy, he came out with a new album, man, called Love, and he got a song on there called Kim Porter. How you feel about that?
I think that's probably a great thing to do. You know what I'm saying? To honor the person that you said you love, to honor the woman who gave you a scar on your wrist for the rest of your life that you could always look at and remember.
I want you to look at this photo, right? Check out this photo with Diddy with a medical wrapper on his wrist. What's this after the fight he had with Kim Porter?
Yeah, that's the same time, man. Same hand, right hand. If you look at it, it's on his right wrist, right up in there.
I can't tell you what the situation was over. I took them to where the yacht came and picked them up at. And Puff said, I don't need no security because it was just personal friends getting on the yacht. And then I picked them up when the yacht came back. And I seen Kim's nose taped up. And it was whispers all around the office of everything that happened because his assistants were there and they was talking about it. He tried to say that she hit a table, but everybody in the office and everybody that was immediate around him knew exactly what happened.
And Diddy allegedly punched Kim Porter in the nose.
Right.
And her nose was broken. When you picked them up, when they were leaving the yacht, how bad a shape was Kim Porter in?
Kim was basically just quiet. You know what I'm saying? You could tell she was sad. It wasn't like somebody was supposed to look when they came off a vacation on a yacht for a couple of weeks and stuff like that. And she had some tape over her nose.
This picture here was circling around.
Yeah.
There was stories that Puff had flown in a plastic surgeon or something like that. You know anything about that?
Yeah, he definitely did.
He flew in a plastic
He flew
surgeon?
in a plastic surgeon. Good. Puff will fly in whatever you need to cover yourself up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna fly in your doctors so that he can know. He was controlling when it came to Kim. So he would fly in doctors. Anything that if anything was wrong with it, that it wouldn't get leaked out, he was able to control the situation.
Around the time that Diddy began his romance with Kim Porter in the early 90s, an incident took place that also stamped Diddy's selfish and careless actions to it. An event took place in New York City on December 28th of 1991. Now, it's always a big deal when people attend events like concerts and get hurt. Oftentimes, it's a reflection of staffing or the artists themselves. About 30 years before the 2021 Astroworld tragedy, during which about 50,000 fans rushed to the stage during a Travis Scott performance, which crushed 10 people to death. This was an eerily similar event played out in the City College of New York in Harlem.
And then in 91, that's when the City College tragedy happened. And after that, I stopped dealing with him because he didn't listen to me that night. You understand?
What'd you tell him for him not to listen to you?
I told him, if we don't clear that door, people gonna die here tonight.
It makes it so much worse, and knowing that his bodyguard, Gene Deal, warned him that something bad would happen on this night. But again, that says a lot about Diddy. An event that Diddy helmed the Heavy D and Puff Daddy celebrity charity game. The gymnasium of that college had a legal capacity of 2,730, but thousands more attempted to cram into the gym for the event. The slow process was aggravating the crowd, with small fights erupting as the game's 6 p.m. tip-off time approached. When the bleachers were nearly filled and the game still hadn't started by 7 p.m., by the end of December 28, 1991, 9 people were dead and at least 29 others were injured after an impatient crowd tried to push their way into the City College gym. The judge would go on to say it does not take Einstein to know that young people attending a rap concert camouflaged as a celebrity basketball game who paid as much as $20 a ticket would not be very happy and easy to control if they were unable to gain admission to the event because it was oversold. Diddy and Heavy D spent years dealing with nearly a dozen lawsuits from the incident. Diddy's last settlement was with a woman named Nicole Levy in 2000. Considering how much richer Diddy became in the late 1900s in comparison to 1991, Nicole Levy's lawyers called Diddy's initial $50,000 settlement offer an insult. Going back to Diddy's affair with Jennifer Lopez on Kim Porter, another tragic event struck, leaving everyone wondering if Jennifer Lopez may be listed in a bad way with Diddy now that he's behind bars. After all these years, people want to know, how much did Jennifer Lopez know about Diddy? What secrets did Jennifer Lopez keep for Diddy?
So the whole time that him and Jennifer Lopez was dating, he was still seeing Kim Porter and controlling her at the same time.
Everything. Knew everything Kim was doing. J-Lo mother didn't like him. If he would have ever touched Miss Lopez in any kind of aggressive way, she would have said something, the whole Bronx would have been on Puff.
In December of 1999, Diddy, Jennifer Lopez, and his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones and 21-year-old rapper Jamal Shyne Barrow were involved in a disagreement at a club in New York City, Manhattan, that ended with gunfire and left 3 people injured. Diddy, Jennifer Lopez, and Anthony Wolf Jones left the club, or I should say they fled the club and led police on a chase through New York City that ended with police finding a stolen gun inside the car. However, charges were quickly dropped against Jennifer Lopez before the case went to court. She cooperated with investigators at the time and has since denied any wrongdoing regarding the 1999 shooting. Diddy and Anthony Wolf Jones and Jamal Shyne Barrow faced charges related to gun possession, and prosecutors alleged Diddy and Anthony Wolf Jones attempted to bribe the driver of the car that left the nightclub to tell people that the gun was his in exchange for $50,000. After a long trial, Diddy and Anthony Wolf Jones were acquitted, but a New York jury found Jamal Shyne Barrow guilty of 5 charges, including criminal possession of a weapon, first-degree assault, and reckless endangerment, though Jamal Shyne Barrow was acquitted of attempted murder. He was sentenced and served nearly 9 years for his charges, though no one was ever charged or found guilty for the shooting itself.
Everyone knew all along that I was the fall guy, but my political enemies and, detractors tried to make me into, this criminal. But everyone knew that I was a young kid that took the fall. Everyone knew that. That was the story. I'm just saying that I maintained my innocence all this time. I said I was defending myself. I didn't get into who did what. I maintained that I never shoot nobody, that there were other guns there. I always said that. That has not changed. And that is the testimony that came out. Fragments were never removed, so there was never any forensic testing to say who it was. But the victims are vindicating me.
Jennifer Lopez, when she's finally held accountable for the part she played in the harm that was put on Natania Reuben's life.
The lady in the club.
Do you think they'll bring up charges on Jennifer Lopez?
They better. She committed perjury. And the attorney that was representing the defense side of that suborned perjury. Last time I checked, there's no statute of limitation on perjury. We can start there. There were other people that knew the truth of that story.
The fact that Keefe D is in jail for Pac's murder, do you feel like they may go even deeper to the 90s in regards to just asking?
They have to, because that's the beginning of everything that's leading up to the tragedies that are about to happen now. We have to go back to the beginning.
I absolutely agree with that. That's actually why I started my series with that information, because as the trial nears, all of this stuff is going to start resurfacing very soon. But we still have a lot to cover. So to stay on point here, Natania Reuben was at the club in New York the night of December 1999 when the shooting broke out, injuring the 3 people. Natania was actually shot in the face and miraculously survived. She's willing to allow doctors to remove the bullet still in her face to prove that Diddy did this.
I'm Natania Reuben. I was a victim of a shooting that night in the club, December 27th, 1999, shot in the face by Sean Puffy Combs. I had decided against going initially because I'd gotten saved, so I wasn't really out and about. But my girlfriends were like, come on, come on. One of our girlfriends, her name is Big Stacy. She's a party promoter in the New York City area. And I decided, you know, I'm going to go to support Stacy because we're friends and we supported each other in our endeavors. So I went out to support her promoting her own party that was at New Year's Eve. I wasn't going to go to the New Year's Eve party, so I went ahead after Christmas and went with them to the party. We pull up to the block and there are 2 ambulances at the front of the block as you turn the corner, halfway in the street and halfway on the sidewalk on each side, narrowing the stream of traffic to 1 lane. And I instantly said, 2 ambulances? Are they expecting somebody to die? What is this? When I was approaching the security guard, this particular one security guard, a female security named Sharice Myers, who was found out that she lied and committed fraud and all this stuff. When I was walking in, she checked my bag and she's like, you can't bring this in here. This is a weapon. It was a comb, a hair comb. She made such a big to-do about this comb, took it out of my bag, yet you allow 4 people or 3 people to come in with guns. Like, make it make sense. The entire time I'm in this frame of mind, like, why did I come? Why did I come? Now, was he aiming at me? Was I the object of his fire? Absolutely not. I should not have been because I didn't do anything to him. But is that what resulted? Absolutely, because I see a lot of people online get stuck on that. Oh, well, why would he shoot you? What did you do? Did you owe him money? And I'm like, bullets don't have names and they don't have predetermined destinations. Once they come out of the gun, they're going to go wherever they go. And that's the thing about crime and shooting people. You cannot guarantee that what you're aiming at is what you're going to hit, because you might be a thug, but it doesn't mean you have good aim, because some thug criminal with an attitude and a ego that was outside of control decided he was going to fire a gun in a crowded nightclub and shot me in my face. By the grace of God, I am here. And listen, when right before the muzzle flash went off, when I had turned back to look, I heard God's voice say, relax, you are about to get hit, calm down. And when I screamed no, pop, pop, and it hit me dead in my face.
It really bothers me because Natania actually talked about how she had made great efforts in her life to be a better person, you know, finding the Lord, being there that night to support a friend. And now she has to live with the trauma and knowing that she saw Diddy point a gun and shoot at her face. That is a forever thing. And for Diddy, the way that he is, that was just another night. Again, it just gives us a glimpse into how possessive and cruel Diddy is as a person. This woman has to live with this incident forever. And now there's just speculation about Jennifer Lopez and who she is as a person, even leaking into how her late husband, Ben Affleck, could not stand her and was struggling to maintain his sobriety in their very short-lived marriage. Usher eventually rose to fame in the mid-90s, but before that time, L.A. Reid, the co-founder of LaFace, signed Usher on the spot to a contract with the record company after Usher sang Boyz II Men, the record hit, End of the Road. However, while preparing for his debut album, Usher faced a problem. He was going through puberty and had a difficult time adjusting his vocals. He was 13 at the time that L.A. Reid considered dropping Usher's deal and put the album on hold. However, Usher pleaded with the label to keep him, and they did, but they decided to send Usher to go live with Diddy in New York to attend what L.A. Reid called Flavor Camp.
I don't know if I was prepared for any of it, but I know that I was dedicated enough to stick to it until something happened. And then something that I didn't expect happened. To become a businessman, to then understand entrepreneurship, to understand philanthropy, to understand empathy, to begin to understand the other side of it. I wasn't prepared for that. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. It was curious. I got a chance to see some things. It was pretty wild. These are places that a 13-year-old probably should not be.
I met Puffy a long time ago, around, 92.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like? I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. It was pretty wild. There were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand. Biggie Smalls was there, Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat, or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them. Puffy was scheduled to do my record, and you know, I went out to meet him. He was a really cool cat. He's actually coming up on a lot of different things. He had a few artists, but he was just getting started. Bad Boy was, you know, really up and coming. And I just always known him as a hard worker. He did my first album, completed my first album, and we kept a friendship.
We would fight. We would tussle. More than often, I think Puffy would say, man, you got to chill. Like, you just a little bit too intense. You know, you got to relax. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen, and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
New York is a little bit too fast for me, you know, and I spent like a year here.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Usher would end up telling Rolling Stone, Puff introduced me to a totally different set of shit. Sex specifically. Sex is so hot in the industry, man. There was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen. Usher experimented with women as well, but he said that he didn't actually consummate sex until he was 19. Strange, but I never actually pleasured or was pleasured before then. I'd just do it until the girl was feeling good and then I'd stop.
I was so mesmerized, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was just so blown away by the stamina, the connection, being able to be connected that long, so much shit. You have like so much mother length and all this shit out here. All those dance numbers and all that. Take your time with it. Breathe it in. Yeah, they yours when you go see this for you. This ain't for nobody else but you. You take your time, boy. I see you. Fly ass motherfucker doing good. How the fuck you in the kitchen? Eating all my cereal. Man, you doing babies in a pink suit. The days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes, you know what I'm saying, before pause was invented, you know what I'm saying, but it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early and now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the f*** Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid.
Hey, Kevin Hart, why are you shutting down all of your restaurants right around the time that Diddy gets busted, Bubba? For those of y'all who don't know, Kevin just shut down all 4 of his vegan restaurants in California after only being open for 2 years. Does it have anything to do with this? And also, why the hell are you two so sweaty together? But to be fair, the super thorough fact checkers are saying that this is debunked and it couldn't be it because Kevin closed his restaurants on the 11th and Diddy got arrested on the 16th. Oh, but what's this? Diddy moved back to New York 11 days before the 16th because he knew that he was going to be arrested by federal authorities. And I think it's fair to assume, since him and Kevin are such BFFs together, that he would have let Kevin know exactly what was going on ahead of time.
That was stupid.
When Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business. I know, and people know, that was around that in that time, Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. The white guy with the curly hair, and he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Now we know more because documents have been filed in the Usher genital herpes lawsuit, and the male accuser, although he has not identified himself, has alleged the circumstances surrounding what he says is exposure to genital herpes by Usher. He says it happened at a Koreatown spa in Los Angeles where the two had some kind of sexual contact and exposed him to the disease.
He doesn't have any detail about the actual act or what happened, but just to give the location, and says that Usher is refusing to take a herpes test.
Refusing to take a herpes test, but there is more in this document. Remember, we have a woman, Quantasia, who has come forward at a news conference with Lisa Bloom and talked about this at length, but there were two other people, the male and another female, who have not yet come forward. The male and the female, one of them has genital herpes. It is, now we know, it is the female, the unidentified female, and it got even worse for her, at least if you believe the allegations.
That's exactly right. The Jane Doe has given some details about her sexual contact. She says she had sex with Usher at least twice, and subsequent to having sex with him, she contracted herpes and gave vaginal birth to 2 stillborn twins.
And she's blaming the stillbirths on the herpes.
Well, she says specifically that she even says that there's medical literature that supports her contention that genital herpes causes a higher incidence of stillborns than not. And she's definitely trying to link the two. And, you know, Derek, the way I see this, they are setting this up as a huge damage claim because of the stillborns, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this just got much more interesting because if she had actual real damages from 2 stillborn, you have emotional pain, you have other pain and suffering. This is going to make the damage award go way up. So this could be serious.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room here, and that is that, you know, Usher has not said anything about genital herpes. And obviously, one of the ways of putting a quick end to all of this is saying, look, I don't have it. Now, I'm not saying he has any obligation to do it, but I think that's what people are talking about right now, is that he could have ended it if he wanted to, but he hasn't done that. He hasn't said anything. And then according to this lawsuit, he won't stipulate one way or the other, and he won't take a test.
As a result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. I got it from him. I mean, this is a dude who just never slept. He's probably the first one to get up and the last one to go to sleep. And that commitment, I picked up.
Recently, Usher was said to have cleared his Twitter X account during the big legal troubles that Diddy is facing as of now in 2024. Though his Twitter account suddenly cleared itself of 7,000 plus posts, he mocked everyone's assumptions by stating, "Account got hacked, but damn, y'all ran with it." And then there's the sad allegations coming out about Justin Bieber being handed off to Diddy at a young age by Usher himself.
I was found on YouTube.
Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. I'm tired of Usher. I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher sued. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute.
For the next 48 hours, he's with me.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Yeah. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like.
What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what pedophiles do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids. Now, if Usher is a procurer, and if Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat with Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like, these aren't good people!
All right, Jeff.
He's not good! He's a And the simple fact that fucking Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
Run for the hills.
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl?
Justin does not seem like he's been in a good mental headspace for some time. He does have that song Lonely that he sings about, where he seems like he is super troubled in the lyrics, and it just kind of seemed to me that he sort of mourns his innocence, especially in the music video. He shows this really lonely kid backstage. On his way up to the stage, he grabs a hockey stick and he starts playing ball with himself while he goes to enter the stage. And, you know, there is a specific line in that song that really stood out to me, and it says, everybody saw me sick and it felt like no one gave a shit. They criticized the things I did as an idiot kid. But I want
when I'm all alone and fear is all I see, sitting in the silence with these insecurities, and there you remind me, you're holding me tight. You say the past is behind me and it'll be alright. And you say to me, it'll be alright.
Just didn't know what the heck was going on, and so I really took a deep dive in my faith, to be honest. I just went deep into, like, I believed in Jesus, but I never really, like, you know, when it says following Jesus is actually turning away from sin. And so there's no, what it talks about in the Bible, it's like there's no obedience. There's no faith without obedience. So it's like I had faith about, like, oh, I believe Jesus died on the cross for me, but I never really implemented it into my life. I never, like, was like, I'm gonna be obedient. I think it was my perception of who Jesus really was, you know? I'd had really bad examples of Christians in my life who would say one thing and do another. So they were my direct example of who Jesus was. I didn't take it as seriously because I didn't have good examples.
Good role models.
Yeah. The way I look at my relationship with God and with Jesus is I'm not trying to earn God's love by doing good things. God has already loved me for who I am before I did anything to earn and deserve it. It's a free gift by accepting Jesus and just giving your life to him. And what he did is the gift. The forgiveness is the thing that we look at and, you know, I'm gonna worship you, God, because you gave me something so good. I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark, really dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want and striving after that. So Jesus wasn't this religious elite guy that, you know, came to But he was in the dirt, and he found me in my dirt and pulled me out. Like I said before, I'm a Jesus follower, and I just want to be led by, when you accept Jesus, he says that now you walk with the Holy Spirit. So I think I just want to be led by the Holy Spirit. We're not really good at the end of the day. At the core, I don't believe humans are good. And people might, twist this and make me seem like I'm saying humanity's not good. I don't know.
Tell you the truth.
I just feel like at the core, I fight every day temptation and things that, are instinctive to do, whether it's, whatever it is, lie, be greedy, all these things that just naturally come. Those naturally come. I gotta fight to not be that. So maybe humanity's, it's come to a place of being really, it's broken. I mean, it's just look around. I mean, the pain in this world, it's just so, it's obvious. And people are looking for hope, and they're looking for a way out, and they're looking for an escape, and they're looking for truth, and they're looking for, and I'm just, I've gotten the opportunity with my journey to just see a God who accepts me, loves me. They call him the Savior, and I believe that to be true, that Jesus saved me.